today's episode, our guest is a good-looking brandpreneur and gentleman who graduated from the College of St. Benilde with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Hotel Restaurant, major in Culinary Arts. He also worked as chef in the USA and Cayman Islands for 3 years. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of Mr.Churros brand, Mr. Marion. Go! Good evening mga ka-A-listers. This is your host Avon Morales and you are watching the A-listers. All right, did you miss me? I missed all of you too. It's been a while since I had my special episode where I was with Jeru and Lance. And now that your Avon is back, I have prepared a brand new episode that will truly help us, lalo na ang mga entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs amid pandemic. Kaya ano pang iniintay natin? Let's get this started. In today's episode, makakasama natin ang isang economist na nag-succeed sa kanyang business. Good evening, Mr. Marion. Welcome to the A-listers. Thank you for joining us today. The audience is excited to hear from you. May I give the floor to you to greet our audience for tonight?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm Mr. Marion of Mr.Churros. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Wow. You know, guys, Mr. Marion is not just a businessman, but rather a passionate entrepreneur. Diba, Mr. Marion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Today's episode is entitled Rise of E-commerce. Since the start of pandemic, most people are confined in their homes. Most business operations and transactions have moved online. As an entrepreneur who has been operating remotely and physically, what are your thoughts about the rise of e-commerce? Do you think the continuous trend of e-commerce is a sustainable way to keep our economy from plunging, or there is still a need for physical interactions for our economy to survive?
So for the rise of e-commerce, of course, as an entrepreneur, I really parang in favor of it. Especially now, everything is online. So in na siya, especially for us, which is a good thing. And for the physical, of course, syempre, hindi talaga maiwasan. For me, I think personally, we still need to be physical in touch with our customer. Especially like for the old people or for the people who are not into gadgets, because like sa provinces, not all has smartphones. So how can we reach them? So I think for that, yun lang yung parang I think we still need the physical interaction with the people and also for our customers.
Actually, Mr. Marion, I agree, no? Yung COVID-19 has really pushed the face-to-face transaction towards a more digital one. But we realize, no, that we're also pushed to be agile and creative, di ba?
Yes.
And despite the physical distancing, we can still do more via technology and social media. Pero, di ba, hindi naman lahat ng social media pare-pareho ng kapasidad, no, to enable people to communicate. There are also instances that face-to-face interaction is really necessary. I agree with you, Mr. Marion, kasi merong iba na ang case simply informing the client via email, that's fine, di ba? But there are instances that, may mga negotiations that has to be supported by face-to-face interaction. Yeah, I truly agree, Mr. Marion. Now, since e-commerce is the trend and the most popular to do business today, do you think this is good for food businesses like yours, Mr. Marion?
Actually, I love this question. Of course, my industry is food. So basically, it's really a good thing for us kasi food equals necessity.
Yes.
So the opportunity to sell online to reach more people, especially for the food, like isang post mo lang sa Facebook, people can see what you're selling. So it's just like one click away, people already can see what you're selling. Especially sa food nga, parang necessity siya. So you have to buy. Kahit ano gawin mo, parang among all, food is parang wala kang talo. Kasi nga, basic needs ng tao siya. So which is good for my business, which is the food industry.
And especially, that the food industry deals with perishable goods, that have to be sold quickly.
Yes.
And
Yes.
kasi ako, I've been ordering via online. I noticed, the owners of the food business who are selling online, they can easily set the dates or schedules as to when the products are available and when they will be
Yes.
delivered. So very efficient, no? And
Yes.
yun. Is there any competition in the e-commerce? Kasi di ba, when you had a physical store, there are already existing competitions. So how about now? Plus, what do you think are the pros and cons of online selling?
Yes. So for the on this on our part, especially because of course competition. Yes, during our physical store, talagang marami na. Parang when we open up Mr. Churros, there are other brands established already. So we were starting from scratch again. And then for how about now, especially we shifted our business to online. So what are the pros and cons? So for the pros, syempre, marami. For the pros, one thing is we are operating 24/7. Basically, even tulog ka, our brand is working because people can browse their
Yes.
Facebook or any online digital. So kahit tulog ka, your product is running by itself kahit wala kang ginagawa. And one thing is home base. Wala kang rent. So basically, pwede ka mag-start any business you want. Pwede sa bahay or pwede sa kapitbahay mo. O syempre, wala ka nang iisipin na rent pa. And then for the competition is basically healthy. So, ayun naman. For the cons that I can think of is basically competition because everything is online. So, basically, you don't know baka yung kapitbahay mo, ginagaya ka na or what. But that's okay. So, yun yung parang cons kasi parang you can find any product online. Parang one click mo lang. There's gonna be a different seller na other brand or yung friend mo nagsisell din. So yun yung downside for the e-commerce. And then for one thing is um cons for me is fast pace. So you have to be innovative na you have to create new products kasi nga ang dami nagbebenta online. So lahat na sa online. So you have to think of something to present na bago lagi to keep people to attract to your products.
Alam mo, Mr. Marion, I agree. Yan ang kagandahan ng e-commerce. You can operate it in your most convenient time. Kasi nasa bahay ka, di ba? You can do it
Yes.
24/7. Yun yung kagandahan. And yes, e-commerce competition is really intense. No? That's why you have to be innovative and you have to have this desire to dominate, else you won't stay long. That's why we
Yes.
have to strive to provide better products and services, even if costs do rise. Investment in better products could pay off through customer loyalty and word of mouth. Diba? Yun. So, okay, now Mr. Marion, do you think people who want to venture out on these industries must think twice before entering? Because we all know that business competition is really healthy because it balances, no? But what if there are lots of competition? And since e-commerce has been very competitive, does this mean very little chance of profit? How about Mr. Churros? How is online selling different from the physical selling in terms of profit?
Okay. So personally for me, if people's gonna think twice before entering e-commerce, I mean for me, especially now, no. You
Oh,
just have to do it. I mean, you have to go for it. Because especially like for example, you have your smartphone. It's free advertising eh. Basically you just have to type and sell. I mean, like kunya may product kang isa or sa friend mo, just post it. Instant na kita na sa yun eh. No matter piso ba yun or five, sales pa din siya. So for
yes.
me, you don't have to think twice. You have to go for it, especially now because everything is shifted online.
All
And
right.
then for now, competition. So basically, ito yung sasabihin nila, ba't ko pa siya ibibenta? Ang dami ko ng kagaya parang sa market. Parang, what can I do to make it different or para mapansin ako? Of course, like our business, Churros, there are lots of sellers and resellers and other brands who are more established than us way before we started. So one thing you have to think about is one quality product na makachamba ka lang. If na pumatok siya, for sure people uulit sa'yo. Kasi for example, Churros, other brands, there's 5 brands, ours and the 4 other brands. But if you're selling quality product, among all the 10 customers who buy for you, for sure may uulit na uulit sa'yo or who's gonna stay loyal to you or they're gonna refer you to your friends. So, don't lose hope. competition is talagang andyan. Para it makes you go stronger, be more innovative. So, yun. So, quality for me is for the competition and how you handle your food or syempre, how you present your food. So, which is good thing. Basically, how you present your product, quality talaga for me. Yun parang aangat ka sa iba. In terms of profit from physical to online, syempre, now we're earning more. Number one reason is for the physical store, you're gonna pay for the rent, the manpower, the utilities, and so basically it's extra expense because you're paying for your warehouse or restaurant or your kiosk or restaurant outside. But now we're doing everything sa home base or our warehouse here, which is a good thing because basically na no rent ka na, everything's here na, like the lights and the water. And then, of course, yun nga, syempre plus point, wala ka na talagang rent. So basically
Mm.
now, we're earning more
Yeah,
than
I
our
agree.
physical store.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
That's my answer.
that's partly due, as you mentioned, no, due to the elimination of certain steps or rental fees. No,
Yes.
the owners can actually, like you can actually market directly to the consumer.
Yes.
You don't even need na some mga other intermediaries, no. And that
Yes.
kasi mga yun yung mga nagdadagdag sa mga cost eh. Yun, that's good. Good to know. Mga ka-listers ha, narinig nyo yan. Tsaka go lang ng go, di ba? Now, I'm
Yes.
curious, no? Now, I'm curious this time. Are you accepting resellers or franchising, or is it still a work in progress?
So basically now we're selling retail from directly from our brand. So and then for resellers, yes, we are accepting resellers. We have different resellers from different cities. Like we have one in Paranaque, we have one in Quezon City, we have in Valenzuela. We made sure na in different cities we have at least one reseller. So para at least if someone ordered to us, we're gonna pass it to the nearest city so they can earn as well, not just ours. Parang hindi na kami yung panalo. So even our resellers. And then also, yes, we for franchising, it's in the work for the near future, but we have some people who are asking na. So basically hoping in the nearest future. And also, one thing aside from reselling, we also supply raw materials directly to the restaurants or some like little tea shop, restaurant. We can't say kung sino, but yeah, we supply sa mga restaurant and little tea shop.
Oh, Mr. Marion, that is good to know, no? You know, maraming Filipino ngayon who are in search of a possible online business. Since very limited lang ang source of income because of very limited activities that we can do due to the pandemic, di ba? And your answers have helped us. So normal buyers, see what it's like in the e-commerce industry, okay? Mr. Marion, as an entrepreneur, what are your advices to those who would like to start their own e-commerce business? What are the steps they should undertake, and which industries do you think has the most profit and has the least one?
So my advice is basically it's the same as the steps I'm gonna provide. So the first one is you need for me is you need one solid product or one quality product that you really want to invest your time to it. Kasi syempre number one yun. How will you start your business if you don't know what you're selling? So you have to know your product well. And of course, number two is capital. Not necessarily big naman yung capital na kailangan mo kasi syempre nga, if you're home-based, so there's less expenses already. So you just have to have minimal capital to start the business that you want. And the next step is, the third one is for free, marketing. So basically, kahit sino pwede gawin siya, even high school or elementary kasi smartphone na lahat eh. So you just have to post, share it to your friends or post ka saan. It's gonna be or word of mouth or your sister or your brother will share it to your friends. So basically, marketing also is one of the steps that you're gonna need. And then the last one is the determination to be or the willingness to learn. Because basically, when you start the e-commerce business, it's gonna be hard. Kasi nga, maraming sasabi, you're too late already. Everyone's selling online already. So, ano pa ibibenta ko? So, you don't have to lose heart kasi nga, basically, everybody starting dyan talaga na marami. But you have to persevere talaga na you're gonna sell your product. One quality product lang eh. Makachamba ka lang ng isa, for sure. May mga customers na babalik sa'yo or magbo-boom yung business mo. And then, for the profit, syempre, I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna be in the food industry. Food, like I said earlier, food equals basic necessity. So, kailangan mo siya eh. Parang you can't argue with that. Kailangan mo ng pagkain talaga. So, for me, food industry is one of the highest profit talaga na you can earn. For this profit, um, I really can't say kung ano kasi basically bawat industry they have their own strong and cons na talaga na hindi ko aware kasi more on sa food talaga ako. So, ayun. Pero I think naman all of industry may income naman. It just depends on ano yung gusto mong gawin.
Oh. So tama ba ako, Mr. Marion, na kasi you mentioned na we have to know what the right product to sell, right? And
Yes.
for me, it can be based on finding what you're passionate about, di ba?
Yes.
Kasi if
Yes.
you're passionate about this particular thing, you will know the details of that because you're interested to know and you're interested to do it, di ba, to use it. That's why it's easy to sell. Tama ba ako doon,
Yes.
Mr. Marion? So that's one could be a secret, right? Now, you mentioned
Yes.
about marketing. Siguro, also finding the right influencers is key, right?
Yes. Influencer is a big key rin, of course.
Ayun. Yan. So, and how about, Mr. Marion, how about those who would like to make a physical store like your Mr.Churros? What do you think is the thing that they need the most other than money or capital?
Okay. So for the people who want to start, of course, the physical store, one thing you have to consider is the foot traffic around the area. You can't really decide now once you see the place, yan na, hindi pwede. You have to ocular other places then and you have to check 1 week to 2 weeks talaga. You have to stay there. Siguro, kung kaya mo, 24/7, bantayan mo just to see talaga yung foot traffic kasi you really never can tell eh. So, it takes time to find physical, like sometimes sabihin mo, may offer ka sa mall, kaso napasubo ka, yung pala sa weekdays, wala masyadong tao. So, you really have time to invest if you're looking for physical store. It really takes time. But once you find the perfect spot doon, edi yun na. And also, for the physical store, syempre dapat bagay siya sa product mong sinesell. Baka naman, you're gonna pick a place, yung binibenta mo, ginto or super mahal, and then yung area mo medyo lower yung class, hindi siya tugma, mahihirapan ka talaga. So you have to, for me, yung product mo, you have to balance it also to the place you're getting na i-cater mo talaga. And then for the other thing more important than money and capital, syempre can't argue, kailangan talaga ng money capital. For me is you have to be syempre, the number one is you should be open to failure. Kasi not all succeed at first time. It takes time. Pwedeng this time, the product you started, hindi nag-click. So, kailangan open ka na you're willing to try other product until you find the right product na talagang you're gonna be loved, na hindi ka mahiya i-sell or proud ka talaga i-sell. Talagang it takes time to find the right product. Kung hindi siya, kung baga na nakita mo online na, ito na bibenta ko, doesn't mean na magsasell siya agad. So it takes time. And then last one is willingness to learn. Syempre, yun, you have to learn talaga na sa mga failure mo to succeed as well sa product mo. So, ayun.
Alam mo, Mr. Marion, tama eh. In all businesses, you have to think of the perfect spot and the relevance of that spot or location to the target market no? Kasi ang hirap pagbenta ng Louis Vuitton sa ibang areas, di ba? Yung mga ganyan. So you really have to consider the relevance of that location to the target market and at the same time to the products, right? Tama yun. Ako, I agree with that. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Marion. Before we conclude this episode, please do the honors of introducing Mr. Churros. How did it start and what were the things that your business taught you?
So Mr. Churros started way back in 2016. So how did it start? Basically, I just went home from my work sa Cayman Islands. I was here for a vacation. And during that time, my younger sister was still in high school. So they have, syempre sa high school, uso yung mga school fair, di ba?
Yes.
So for fun, I tried, parang sabi nila sa akin, Mar, parang Kuya Mar, try to come up a product na pwede na maibenta sa school fair. So ayun, I came up with churros kasi nga parang during that time medyo trendy siya. So yun lang for fun. Nagtry ako sa school fair ng sister ko. And then so far, that 2 days na school fair, the profit is way more expect. Siguro parang times 10 na hindi ko in-expect. So nag-click siya. And then after that school fair, I tried to formulate na gawin siyang business na. So we started out sa mga events like simple weddings, caterings, party, any events na pwedeng i-introduce. And then so far, our events naman was doing well talaga. So after the events, we earned parang enough capital to open our physical store na. And then, yun na, syempre nag-store na kami. Then sa store, kasi nga syempre may ups and downs sa mga days talaga sa store. So after the store, we still continued our events like sa mga weddings party, which is good. At least we balance out na yung mga capital na for some days na medyo yung store, syempre hindi maiwasan, yung store medyo mahina. At least our event is still there, which we are doing every week sa parang 4 times a week, which is really good para ma-cope up. So at least wala kaming loss. So which is really good. And then after nun, syempre nag-event ngayon, nag-pandemic. So we started to formulate our product and shifted online. So now we're selling our churros frozen pre-cooked. So meaning it's already pre-cooked. You just have to heat. Kaya mo lang siya initin bago kain. So pwede mo siyang fry or air fryer, which is sabi na siguro air fryer healthier. So ayun, we shifted online. So far we're doing really great kasi nga parang super bilis na talaga, parang one post lang, marami na nag-inquire, kahit tulog kami, nagbebenta, pagising namin may order na. So which is really good. And then so far now this year naman, ayun, siguro ano na kami, yun 2016, so mag 6 years na ba kami? Hindi,
Wow.
I think 5 years. And
Yeah.
then what were things business taught me? Number one is you really have to be patient. Everybody started talaga from scratch. Hindi siya yung pagkasimula mo, nasa taas ka agad. You start low first talaga. You have to be really patient because even though we started our business, every day, hindi kami nag-stop to formulate our product to do better. Kasi every day, parang you can learn something from different people
Yeah.
kahit tao mo pa siya eh. So matututo at matututo ka, you can improve your product still. Until now, we made sure our product talaga ini-improve namin. Kasi wala so people talaga pabalik-balik. And what else taught me? You have to be, of course, open-minded then to criticism kasi or negative, don't bring it down kasi talagang you can't please everybody. Meron at meron talagang people na sasabihin na hindi okay or but we made sure naman we don't do so. So, one thing that taught me, you have to be open-minded, positive or negative. It's a positive or negative, good thing siya sa'yo kasi it can help you improve or do more good sa business, more improve yung product mo. So, ayun.
Tama yun, Mr. Marion. Remember, feedback is a gift. That's where you can get pointers on how to improve your business, right?
Yes.
All right. No, you know what, Mr. Marion, I'm just curious, no? What inspired you to build Mr. Churros? Why Mr. Churros? Is it because you like churros?
Actually, yes. People ask me this. Yeah, before kasi nung kids kami, um, our parents, like sa mga arcade, di ba, syempre, bata ka, naglalaro ka ng mga sa game. So after that, our parents made sure after namin mag-games, we eat churros before going home. So from there, kinalakihan na siya. And then, I started formulating sa churros. Then, I decided na parang churros is a to go to kasi it can be easy eh. Pwede mo siya kainin habang naglalakad ka. So, ayun. That's why, yeah, I really love churros. But now, talaga, I have, kahit nakapurgang-purga na, I still have to try our product. Siyempre, to maintain the quality.
You see, mga ka-A-listers, it boils down to doing and building what you're passionate about, right?
Yes.
Yon. So, what food and services do you offer, and which social media and platform can Mr. Churros be found?
Okay. So, what food services we offer? Basically, we offer, of course, sa name pa lang Mr. Churros. So, basically, we're selling churros. We offer events, any kinds of event, name it, party, concert, kahit anong event, makeup event, or anything, or what you call this, wedding, baptismal, any kind of event, especially now sa pandemic. We offer smaller package like siguro 1 to 30 packs lang. We cater then, but syempre we follow the guidelines for the safety of all rin. And then you can find Mr. Churros Facebook, Instagram. We're also online in Food Panda. So
Wow. Nice, no? It's everywhere. We can find Mr.
yes,
Churros everywhere. That's
yes.
good.
We're just one click away. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, since we're still in the middle of pandemic, what are your future plans for Mr. Churros?
So basically now, pandemic, of course, syempre maraming naiisip kami, like especially me if after this pandemic, is it still worth it to open a physical store? Kasi nga, especially nowadays, online na lahat. I mean, online, hindi naman siya. I mean, it's not new eh. Even di pa start yung pandemic, it's already there. We're just maximizing the use of it now kasi nga everybody's at home, which is good. And then for our future plans, we're hoping to open our franchising soon, which is in the works already. And also, we're getting lots of comments or messages if we're open to supply in Visayas and Mindanao region also. So we're planning to work on that as well. Hopefully, early next year already. So that's it.
Oh, wow. You know, Mr. Marion, it's a really fruitful discussion with you, and I'm sure our audience really learned a lot. Audience, right? All right. Now, before we end this, alam ko you already shared your advices, Mr. Marion. But can you stress that one best advice that the buyers and the sellers should be putting on their top of their minds in doing business?
One thing I learned this is not only applicable for business. I think it's applicable in everyday life or any kind of what work na tinitake. Basically, at the end of the day, you should be doing what you really love. Because if you're doing it half-heartedly, wala rin eh. You're just gonna give it up halfway. So for me, dapat you really love what you're doing. Even nakakapagod or sasabihin mo minsan na ayoko na kasi wala namang bumibili. So ayun, talagang you should really love what you're doing kasi at the end of the day, kung ayaw mo talaga eh.
Yeah.
Diba? So ayun.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marion. Pero last na talaga, promote Mr. Churros to our audience and how they can find you.
So, hello everyone. I'm inviting you to check out Mr. Churros. You can check our Facebook or Instagram at Mr. Churros PH. Surely you love our churros because it's easy and convenient. Anytime you can cook it. So please check us out.
Mr. Marion, I saw your social media platform for Mr. Churros, and I noticed that showbiz personalities also patronize your brand. For the info of our viewers, who are these showbiz personalities?
Okay. So basically, I'm just gonna name a few because we have lots of celebrities that we can share. You can check out our page for that one. So one is Miss Marian Rivera and her husband Sir Ding Dong. We also have Miss Mariel Padilla, and lastly is Miss Rufa Gutierrez.
Wow.
And you can check out others as well.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marion. Thank you, everyone. Grabe, sobrang naging knowledgeable ang ating episode today because of our beloved guest. I hope you learned as much as I did. Kaya alam nyo na, business is a sacrifice and it is for you to decide if it is worth it or not. Thank you for joining us today, mga ka-A-listers. I'm Avon Morales and you are watching The A-Listers. See you again in our next episode. Bye!